Meantime, Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Peter Turnquest, detailing the actual government debt figures despite some numbers which have gone viral. The Finance Minister says Bahamians should be able to trust that the numbers their political leaders are discussing are accurate representations of the country's fiscal position. Altavi's Munnings has details.
It's a meme illustrating government debt figures, what financial officials describe as fake news, that went viral on social media and prompted Minister of Finance, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Peter Turnquest, to explain the real figures.
Under the former administration, they borrowed somewhere around $1.2 billion over their first 2 years, whereas we borrowed $977 million in net borrowing. That means that the total amount borrowed less loans that were being refinanced, meaning repayment of existing loans, equals the new debt or net borrowing. And that is the comparison that the true comparison, if you want to use that as a measuring stick between administrations.
Minister Turnquest maintains, though, that the premise is not which administration borrowed more or less, but is using government revenue and borrowed funds in an effective and responsible way to invest in Bahamian families, communities, businesses, and the nation as a whole. Finance officials credit the wealth of information published about government debt activity on the country's budget website, www.bahamasbudget.gov.bs, to raising the fiscal transparency bar, as Minister Turnquest underscored that accurate financial reporting is important to the government.
We are managing our fiscal situation, that we have been on a path towards fiscal consolidation prior to these two catastrophic events. These crises have resulted in us having to expand the deficit, hence the borrowing, to ensure that we take care of people and that we invest in the economy such that it is able to survive during this crisis and be at a position where it is able to take off from a stable foundation once the recovery begins. Because obviously, if we do not invest and we do not support families and we do not support business entities and jobs, then we're going to have a very much more difficult time, and it's going to take that much longer for us to feel the recovery here in the Bahamas.
Government will report debt activity for the current fiscal year during the Ministry of Finance's fourth quarter report that will be published by August 31st. Altavi's Munnings, ZNS Network News.